Have you ever set a huge, life-changing goal filled with excitement and motivation, only to find yourself back at square one a week later? You decide you're going to wake up at 5 a.m., run 5 miles, meditate for an hour, and write a chapter of your novel, all before work. It sounds incredible. For a day or two, you might even pull it off. But then, life happens. You hit snooze, you feel tired, and that mountain of new habits suddenly feels impossible to climb. The guilt sets in. You think, maybe I'm just not disciplined enough. Are you terrified to fail at every new habit because this cycle feels so familiar? What if I told you the problem isn't you? It's the strategy. It's time to stop trying to conquer the mountain in a single leap. Instead, let's flip the script with tiny, unstoppable wins. We're going to build a system so easy, so ridiculously small, that you literally can't say no. This is how you build habits that actually stick, not for a week, but for a lifetime. To understand how to build habits that last, we need to look at the science behind them. It all comes down to a simple, powerful neurological pattern in our brains called the habit loop. It's a 3-step process that your brain runs on autopilot. First, there's the cue. This is the trigger that tells your brain to go into automatic mode and which habit to use. It could be a time of day, a specific place, an emotional state, or even the action that just preceded it. Next comes the routine. This is the habit itself, the physical, mental, or emotional action you take. It's the behavior you want to change or build. And finally, the reward. This is what tells your brain, hey, this loop is worth remembering for the future. The reward creates a craving, a dopamine spike that makes you want to repeat the loop again and again. Habits start with a cue, follow with a routine, and end with a reward. That's the habit loop. This isn't just psychology, it's neurology. Every time you complete this loop, you strengthen the neural circuits in your brain, making the behavior more and more automatic. The goal isn't to fight your brain, but to work with it. Now, here's the secret that ties it all together. Your habits shape your identity. Often, we focus on the outcome we want, like losing 20 pounds or writing a book. But the most effective way to change your habits is to focus on who you wish to become. Don't just aim to run a marathon. Aim to become a runner. Don't just write a book. Aim to become a writer. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you do 2 push-ups, you're casting a vote for, I am someone who is physically active. When you read 1 page, you're casting a vote for, I am a reader. These aren't just small actions. They are small pieces of evidence that prove your new identity to yourself. The goal is not to be perfect overnight, but to simply cast more votes for your desired identity than for your old one. You're not just building habits, you're building a new you, one tiny action at a time. So, how do we cast these votes? We start by making our routines laughably small. The biggest mistake we make is starting too big. Your initial goal is not to achieve a massive result, it's to master the art of showing up. You need to make your new habit so easy that you can't say no. Swap big, scary routines for tiny versions. Want to get fit? Don't commit to an hour at the gym. Start with just 2 push-ups. Want to read more? Don't aim for a chapter a day. Read 1 page. Want to meditate? Forget 20 minutes. Start with a 1-minute meditate. The point of these atomic habits is to make them non-negotiable. Even on your worst day when you're tired, stressed, and unmotivated, you can still do 2 push-ups. You can still read 1 page. This is called habit scaling. Once you've mastered showing up for your 2-minute habit, you can slowly increase the duration. Maybe next week it's 5 push-ups or 5 minutes of reading. But the foundation is the unwavering consistency you built when the task was almost effortless. To make showing up even easier, you need to become the architect of your environment. Your surroundings have a profound impact on your behavior, often without you even realizing it. The secret is to decrease the friction for your good habits and increase the friction for your bad ones. Want to drink more water? Fill up a water bottle and place it on your desk every morning. The visual cue and easy access make the habit almost automatic. Want to practice guitar? Take it out of its case and put it on a stand in the middle of your living room. You'll be far more likely to pick it up. Conversely, make your bad habits harder to perform. If you spend too much time on your phone, leave it in another room when you're working or relaxing. If you eat too much junk food, don't just hide it. Stop buying it, or store it in an inconvenient place, like a high shelf in the garage. By adding just a few extra steps of effort, you make it less likely you'll act on the impulse. Design your world so your desired actions are the path of least resistance. Now let's talk about the habits you want to break. The same principles apply, but in reverse. To break bad habits, you need to make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. The most effective way is to disrupt the cue. If you smoke every time you have a coffee, maybe the cue isn't the nicotine craving, but the coffee itself. Try switching to tea for a week and see what happens. If you mindlessly snack while watching TV, the cue is sitting on the couch. By identifying and removing the trigger, the habit often dissolves on its own. If you can't remove the cue, make the routine harder. As we discussed, add friction. But here's a powerful addition. When the craving hits, don't just resist it, replace it. Your brain doesn't like a vacuum. So, find a new, better routine to attach to that old cue. When you feel the urge to check social media, use that as your cue to stand up and stretch for 30 seconds. When you want a sugary snack, use that as your cue to drink a glass of water or eat a piece of fruit. Replace it with a small, appealing alternative that moves you toward your goals, not away from them. Motivation is fickle. It comes in waves. You can't rely on it to be there every day. That's why we need systems. One of the most powerful systems is building momentum with a habit streak. Your goal is simple. Don't break the chain. Use a calendar or a habit tracker and mark an X for every day you complete your tiny habit. After a few days, you'll have a chain. Your only job is to not break it. This visual proof of your progress becomes its own motivation. But what truly cements a habit is the final step of the loop, the reward. And it must be immediate. Your brain needs to associate the routine with pleasure right away. So reward yourself immediately after completing your tiny habit. This doesn't have to be anything big. It can be simple praise. Tell yourself, "Good job, that's a win." It could be a physical check mark on your tracker, or it could be a tiny treat that you genuinely enjoy. Stacking. Your current daily routines are already deeply ingrained neural pathways. You can leverage them to launch your new habits. The formula is simple. After current habit, I will new habit. The key is to choose a daily anchor habit that is specific and reliable. For example, instead of a vague goal like "I'll meditate in the morning," you stack it. After I pour my first cup of coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. The coffee is the cue. It's something you do every day without fail. Want to start a journaling practice? After I brush my teeth at night, I will write 1 sentence in my journal. Want to build a gratitude habit? When I sit down for dinner, I will say 1 thing I'm grateful for today. By linking your new, desired behavior to a firmly established one, you're using the momentum of your old habit to carry you into the new one. It's the ultimate way to automate your self-improvement. Life is unpredictable. Even with the best systems, you will face obstacles. You'll travel, you'll get sick, you'll have days where you're overwhelmed by stress or completely drained of energy. The key is not to avoid these days, but to have a plan for them. This is where if-then planning comes in. You anticipate the obstacle and decide in advance how you'll respond. For example, If I'm traveling and don't have access to a gym, then I will do 10 minutes of bodyweight exercises in my hotel room. Or, if I feel too stressed to write, then I will open my document and just write one sentence. This pre-commitment removes the need for in-the-moment decision-making when your willpower is low. On days you feel completely exhausted, fall back on your 2-minute rule. Just do the absolute bare minimum. The goal on hard days is not to make progress, but simply to not lose it. Showing up for 2 minutes, even when you don't feel like it, keeps your streak alive and reinforces your identity. It sends a powerful message. Even on my worst days, I still show up. We've covered a lot, but the path forward is simple. It's not about a massive overhaul. It's about a single, tiny step taken today. Forget about who you were yesterday. Forget about the grand vision of who you'll be a year from now. Focus only on this. What is one tiny habit you can start today? One that is so small it's almost impossible to fail? Pick one. Maybe it's putting on your running shoes. Maybe it's opening a book. Maybe it's just taking 3 deep breaths. Start tiny. Then track your progress. Don't break the chain. Tweak the loop. Make the cue obvious, the routine easy, and the reward satisfying. And most importantly, celebrate the wins. Celebrate showing up. Because those tiny wins stack. They build momentum. They rewire your brain and reshape your identity. This is not a quick fix. It's a fundamental shift. It's a lifestyle. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take your step. Start today and watch your life change.